Hello, welcome back to Blender Stitch Live. Today we're gonna be doing something simple and easy. Basically, this kind of 3D sketch using Blender and grease pencil. Alright, so basically what is this? This is just a simple 3D mesh, and on top of the 3D mesh I have a couple of grease pencil. So the grease pencil, we have this, and we have this one, the rotating bed, and also we have LineArt. Okay, LineArt is actually connected to the camera, so I need to be inside the camera in order for this to work properly. So I need to jump into the camera, and this LineArt is working automatically using modifier. So this LineArt is pointing at my mesh, which is this 3D scan object, and then it's gonna be generating line based on the view inside the camera. So the rest of them is just my own grease pencil, and also this bat that's rotating. Actually, I think I'm rotating this using expression, just frame multiply by 0.1. So it's rotating in the x-axis. So I have this bat inside this dishwasher. Okay, so let me show you how actually, and the shader is from this guy from Kushiro. I just bought it, $5. Okay, not too bad. So I cannot give you the shader, but you can see the shader is pretty fancy, and it's good for this type of stylized 3D. But anyway, that's just for the look. The idea is really you just import like a 3D scan. You scan it using maybe like Polycam. Polycam will work with any iPhone. If you have like a iPhone LiDAR or iPad LiDAR, you can just bring in your scan into Blender. So it's gonna look something like this. It usually comes with an empty or something, but you can just right click and clear and keep transformations, and then get rid of everything. So this is a 3D scan, and you just want to learn just basic things, grease pencil just to paint on top of 3D. You can download 3D mesh assets from Sketchfab also. Just download the one you like. Search for whatever you want. Maybe I think shoes is a good 3D model to paint over. Like this. Wow, this is high-res scan. Free shoe model. Okay, let's try just downloading this one. And you just draw on top of it. It's gonna be quite meditative and relaxing. Okay, so let's save this laundry. Okay, so this is gonna be our canvas, and we are not painting on it. We're gonna be using grease pencil. Okay, so Shift A, grease pencil, blank. Switch to draw mode. You're gonna be drawing on this. If you start drawing, it's gonna be out. It's gonna be on the plane. We don't want to do that. We want to draw on the surface of our 3D objects in front of our camera. This is the offset. So by default, your stroke might be gray like this. You want to increase the strength. You can play around with the radius and just start drawing. So this is actually something you can do using your mouse or stylus, maybe Apple Pencil, doesn't matter, whatever you like. And this is gonna take sometimes. Actually, just take your time to do this. It's actually fun and relaxing, supposed to be relaxing. Play some music. So the idea is really you are tracing 3D, and this takes a bit of just brain processing power. Don't be too stressed when you're doing this. It could be like some kind of session, you know, like a therapy session. You can do this maybe you know, like while having massage or something. You can do this with just half brain. And this is we are drawing grease pencil on frame 1. You can actually go to another frame and it's gonna be a new keyframe. You can use a little bit of imaginations, like maybe here we have like just draw an eyes. And this is inside the laundry machine. This is the floor. I can just paint over. You can see there's like some kind of cable here. You can use imagination. The stroke actually sometimes goes inside. Well, that's okay for now, just leave it. So this is your drawing. If I get rid of the mesh, it's 3D. And you can add some effects very quickly just using noise. By default, this is what you get. You can reduce the noise and then increase the thickness. So it can affect the thickness as well. So you can do that. That's just for the effects. You can change the stroke thickness if you want to. Stroke thickness. As this guy, okay, this guy is the mesh. The original mesh have texture as well. Okay, this is one thing. Okay, you can actually draw with the texture on. So you have something, you have extra things to trace, which is actually a good thing. Because even like the grease pencil LineArt cannot detect the texture. So this is really something that you want to do. This is actually pretty cool. It's because it's like you're using the texture and you use it as reference. Okay, I know it's not a big deal, and our brain can just do it, but it's actually quite impressive. You think this is like some kind of easy things that even maybe like baby can do it, but this is quite impressive actually. The ability for us to trace, or it's a bit like if you are copying like a drawing, or you are copying like a move or dance move. It seems like nothing, but it's actually just, it's practically, as a human, you are basically copying others. Some are really good at copying and some are really good at trying a new move. You can, I mean, anyone can try a new move. Not all of them, maybe not all of them very like, not popular or as aesthetically pleasing at a time, but it really depends. Sometimes you just doing, in this case, you know, we are just tracing, and you are kind of pushing yourself to just draw. Use your creative brain. Is tracing really creative? Well, it is actually creative if you start thinking about what you want to trace, or what. Normally you don't do this, you know, like you don't do gravity on your washing laundry machine, but you can, because this is in 3D and you have this kind of freedom. It gives yourself like a freedom. Yeah, you can draw whatever, like butterfly, flowers. Okay, sorry about the noise, it's the cleaner. Well, all right, so now we have a more complete result of this with the texture. Okay, the texture, we can actually get rid of it. We don't need the texture in this case. I can keep the material, create a new texture, and this is like plain white with if I can give it like 100% emission, so it's totally white. If we go to the world and give it like 100% white, and we use this scene world, you might notice this is not something wrong with the background, right? It's not totally white because we are by default, Blender is using this color management filmic. If we switch to standard, you're gonna get full white. Sorry, it's super bright. If you want a little bit of ambient occlusions, you can get rid of this emission light and just use a different color. In my case, I purchased the Kushiro shader, so I can try appending that. So if you purchase the Kushiro shader, you can just append, just add the material. And let's take a look at the result. Yeah, this is how the material looks like. Okay, the background is too strong. Let's just pick a color, make it darker. Okay, now it's better. Take a look at the shader. This is from Kushiro. You can adjust the light over here. I wish there's like a controller that's using the sunlight just to get the light directions. Inside the Kushiro, okay, there's this control over the noise and the scale, rotation angle. All right, it's pretty cool. Okay, inside is okay, it's pretty complex, you know. Hit it, spend some time on this. You can use your own texture and mix the shader, but I'm not gonna do that. So this is the results so far with the grease pencil. But we don't stop there. We can add a camera. Actually, F3 and LineArt, and use an object LineArt and point the object into our mesh, and then create a camera, Shift A camera, and then align the camera to view. Now we are also using auto-generated LineArt grease pencil. I'm turning on camera to view, so whatever we look, the camera will follow. So let's just set up the camera so it's 1080 by 1080 pixels, so we have square. And let's see, LineArt. By default, it tends to be really thick, so we can make it smaller, like 4, 6. So with just the LineArt, it's looking something like this. There's like a crack all over. This crack effects, I quite like it, but I think that's because of the scan mesh is maybe a little bit broken. Let me show you. If I use smooth, you can see it's starting to crack. Sometimes I like this effect. This is actually from Scanniverse app using the iPhone. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't want. So go to edit mode, right click, merge vertices by distance. So now the scan is cleaner anyway. It's probably a little bit too clean. We are not getting much edges. You can do this multiple times if you want. So if you like these edges, you can actually bake this. So you have one line art. You can switch to different camera and then create another object line art pointing into our mesh with a different thickness. Okay, and then you can use noise. And turn on our creations. So you have variations on thickness, and yeah, it's looking quite nice. Don't forget that also you can add more like a spinning thing over here. This is because this is like a laundry machine. So we can create another grease pencil. Shift A, grease pencil, blank. Gonna switch to draw mode. And we can pick a pencil, ink. This one is probably too thick, so we're gonna switch to 20 radius, still a little bit too thick, 15. So if you want to draw here, because the way I scan it, I think I have hole here. So maybe I just create a quick plane, R, Y, 90 degrees. I'm gonna use this so I can draw on this circle. Go to the front view, or actually select our grease pencil, draw mode. Gonna be drawing this maybe cat or bat. Some kind of bat cat. One-eyed cat, okay. Something like that. And we can spin this. Right click. If we just rotate it, you can see the pivot point is incorrect. So set origin to geometry. And then R, X. Now we can use this to rotate. Just put a frame number, multiply by 0.1. So we have this. If you might notice, sometimes the stroke goes inside, so in our case we can use displacement minus 0.2, or yeah, just push this a little bit so we can see a little bit more of our grease pencil stroke. If you notice the bat is a little bit transparent, it's a good idea also to just paint over, just add another layer and different material. This time I will use a different color. Just white on top of black. Some kind of, yeah, just to give it a little bit more layer opacity. Because this is like all grease pencil, you can change the color. Green bat. Yeah, you can be really creative. Oh, okay. I just realized I'm painting the stroke, but it's projected. So one thing, just be careful. Just be careful with this. Okay, so if you have like other 3D scan, file, import GLB from downloads, free shoe model from Sketchfab. Again, because this is a scan object, oftentimes scanned object have multiple parts. You don't want that. Most of the time you want to select all by type mesh and then Command J, join all of them, and then hit tab, right click, merge vertices by distance. Now it's cleaner, and you can see this is quite dense and high resolution. You can keep that, but you want to also maybe decimate just to keep it less heavy for your computer. And this shoes is normally maybe not aligned properly. You want to use your eyeball. A good idea is to go to quad view. This is just a few tips. Few tips that I usually do that you might want to know. So now this is aligned properly. You want to right click, clear the parents and keep transformation, and then Control A, apply all transform, get rid of other objects. So you have just the shoes as canvas. And again, if you want to start again, Shift A, grease pencil, blank, draw mode, surface offset to nearly 0, pick your pencil, radius maybe 25 or 15, and start drawing. Okay, this is too thin. You can however work with thicker or thinner line, but there you go. The canvas is ready. Yeah, I think my computer can handle this pretty good. So now it's time to just trace the stroke based on the camera, and just follow your intuitions. Have you ever been to like an art class or like live drawing class? It's actually quite nice, and something you should try at least once. You usually have like a model, like a figure model. The figure model usually maybe naked, but sometimes there also can be clothed. It depends what type of art class, but it's really fun, something you should try. Here we have a Blender, and we have 3D model that's been scanned by someone else, and the idea is really just to have some fun, you know, just draw on top of it. I've done this a couple of times. I should have done more, but it's fun. I should do this daily actually. I'm just using my mouse, but you can see the stroke and everything feels quite natural. If you have like a stylus, this is gonna be a lot faster and more precise. It's really not about precision either, unless you want to use it, unless you really want to make this into an artwork. I mean, even I think like imperfection is really quite a beautiful thing, you know, like not everything needs to be perfect. What is perfection anyway? These days, just make something, you know, just do whatever your intuitions tell you to do. Crazy times. So you can also draw underneath the shoes. If you're tired, just stop, you know. If you made a mistake, just go to edit mode, and this is grease pencil, you know. You can select grease pencil and you can delete it. Let me try again. So we have the mesh, and we have grease pencil, object, edit. We should be able to select. In this case, you can see this is just a simple points. You can delete that points. Now you can keep the stroke. Pretty cool. So back to object mode. remember our technique, get rid of, so we have the original texture that you can actually use for tracing. You can keep the texture, get rid of it, give a new texture, emission, maximum, and then turn on the background and make it using the scene world. It's so bright now. And also get rid of the filmic, switch to standard, and you have your shoes. Alright, so don't forget about the line art technique. Let me do that again. It's too bright. Shift A, camera view, camera align active camera to view. Again, do this, and then F3, grease pencil, object line art. Just switch to the modifier and then pick our object. So we have now line art. Okay, line art. This line art seems to be really thin. Okay, that's a little bit better. You have automatic line outside of the shoes, which is kind of nice. So if you ever want to go back to your texture, there, switch to this mode and get out, get out of the camera, switch to your grease pencil and continue drawing. Okay, so for example, this type of stroke, you can draw this also. You're also testing your patience when doing this. You can trace every texture. You can write your name here. And yeah, draw eyeballs, something. And anytime you can bake the grease pencil if you want to, because this is year 2021. Yeah, give it a try. This is a 3D mesh become your canvas. It's so easy to make to scan 3D objects these days. The iPhone, or I don't know, I think other camera can do that using photogrammetry. With the iPhone you can do it on the phone. So yeah, this is the result. Hopefully you find this useful and interesting. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.